Hello trader and welcome to this free training. If you can commit the next hour to this training, you're going to get the most actionable piece of trading education you've got in a very long time. Today we're going to be looking at how to reach your first $10,000 per month trading without huge losses, pain and hardship. The goal is to take you from either a beginner trader or an experienced trader who is still losing and take you from inconsistency, losing trades, wasting time, jumping strategies and generally feeling frustrated to a point where you have a built out trading strategy, you're confident with your work, you can achieve consistent profit, you can acquire over $100,000 in trading capital to work with, and you can hit your first $10,000 month and build off of that consistently. Now, why on earth should you listen to me? Well, that's because the frameworks I'm going to show you today have actually helped my students to achieve over $13 million in funding, and that's capital to trade with, and over $3.2 million in real profits that they've generated and taken home. So in this training session, I'm going to show you how to build your profit generating system, craft your trading strategy. I'm going to give you a blueprint for capital acquisition, help you to form a bulletproof trading mindset and scale to $10,000 per month as fast as possible without skipping any important parts of the process. Now, as a trader, do you ever feel like no matter how hard you grind, you just can't seem to make progress? You're stuck in a perpetual cycle of losses and you're wasting money and time. And sometimes you feel like there's no hope of ever making it to where you want to be. It can even feel like trading is impossible. Well, the path to becoming a winning trader is incredibly challenging. There's no clear route. There's conflicting advice from mentors, from social media, and from education platforms everywhere. You end up grinding with no success, wasting time, wasting money, and it can leave you feeling uncertain and anxious about your future success as a trader. Well, I'm going to tell you now, I've been there and I know exactly how hard it is. But because I've been through the hardships and I've been through the losses and I've been through the lessons, today I can give you a new perspective of the markets and give you the blueprint to achieving your first $10,000 profitable month as a funded trader. That's a trader who can acquire large capital and trade on the large capital without putting a lot of risk down to generate real large results. And I know that these frameworks will work for you because I've mentored over 1,600 students to success with the exact systems I'm going to show you today. These systems are going to work for you even if you've never had a profitable month, you don't have a lot of trading capital, and you don't have a lot of market experience. So whether you're a total beginner who's never traded before in your life, or you're a trader with some experience who's failing to get to where you want to be, you are going to find a lot of value in today's class. So just a little bit about me before we start. My name is James. You probably know me as JEAFX from social media, YouTube, Instagram, wherever it is that you found me. Some of my achievements today: I've acquired 7 figures in trading capital. I've built an income stream from trading that generates me around 5 figures per month on average. And I've mentored 1,600 plus students to success. The frameworks we're going to be looking through took me from $0 to $1.3 million in personal funding, with most of the evaluation challenges being passed in just 1 to 2 weeks. Now, this is going to be built upon. If you don't know what funding challenges are, do not worry. But if you do, you will understand that a framework that allows you to get funded quickly and efficiently without risking it all is an amazing skill to have to scale your life and your career as a trader. And the frameworks have also allowed me to create a $10,000 per month plus income stream with minimal risk down. I'm not putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in trading accounts here. I'm utilizing one of the best opportunities of the modern trading day, which we're going to talk about soon, to generate large profits without large risk. Through these strategies, I've created the greatest trading education and community in the industry by my standards, with 1,600 global students achieving over $13 million in funding and $3.2 million in profits since the start of 2022. Okay, I've helped hundreds of traders just like you to develop their edge and win in the market, and you are going to be the next to win following these systems. So what I'm going to share with you today is geared towards traders making between $0 and $1,000 per month, and also traders making negative returns per month. So if you're failing to ever be profitable, that's fine too. Now, it is applicable to traders of all skill levels though. If you're a total beginner, you're going to find value here on getting started on the right path. And if you're a trader who's got some success and is achieving $2, $3, $4, maybe even $5,000 per month, but struggling to scale past that, this blueprint is going to allow you to scale from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I will say, guys, scaling your trading to $10,000 per month requires real work. If it was really easy, everyone would already be there. But while it might seem like a very difficult, far-fetched, or bold task right now, you're going to learn the process to getting there is a lot more simple than you think. And while I can't guarantee you get these results in 1, 2, or 3 months, what I can say is the systems I'm about to share with you have been used over and over again to create successful traders and generate millions in profits. So you know they work. Okay, so I want to start the training with this quote from Van Tharp, a very famous trader and trading psychologist. And this quote is really going to be the foundation of today's class. A peak performance trader is totally committed to being the best and doing whatever it takes to be the best. He feels totally responsible for whatever happens and thus can learn from his mistakes. These people typically have a working business plan for trading because they treat trading as a business. So, that core concept of treating trading like a business and building out a working business plan is exactly what you need to do to get to your goals. Now, one essential thing before we start the individual lessons is your access to feedback and course correction. In trading, it's incredibly easy to be knocked off track. It's easy to jump strategies or develop terrible habits that are hard to kick. If you can get yourself access to a community, accountability, and support, this will be essential for avoiding major hurdles and getting you back on track when you make silly mistakes or start to lose focus. So make this available to you. You can make this available to you via a trading community, via a mentor, or you can simply build an accountability team or get an accountability partner in the form of a friend who will help you to stay on track. This isn't going to be as effective as a mentor because they might not have as much skill, but they'll be able to see when you're doing silly things. So make sure you've got access to feedback and course correction. This is going to save you a lot of time. And the reason I emphasize this is because the lack of feedback and course correction that I had led me to lose 2 years of my life and over $30,000 along the way. And while I made it to where I wanted to be in the end, feedback and course correction could save you from this. If you have access to accountability and a mentor, it will save you years of time and tens of thousands of dollars that I unfortunately wasted myself. So just to emphasize the importance of having this, I want to talk about Daniel real quick. He's one of my academy students. When he first joined me, he was entirely off course with bad habits, bad knowledge, and a lack of direction. But through the academy courses, the network, and the personal support, he got on the right track with new direction. Now, from this point, he started trading quite well and he developed his strategies a lot and minimized the losses, but he still got stuck in a loop and he wasn't really able to push his trading past that break-even point. So I gave him some individual feedback on his trades and set him up with some concepts that would specifically help his current position. And after this, he went on to achieve a $50,000 trading week and got paid out $40,000 of that money in his pocket. And this was in the span of just over 2.5 months. Okay. And this was after years of losing. So you can see how important this course correction is, because without it, you get stuck in these losing cycles for a very long time. So make sure you've got accountability, course correction, and feedback available to you before you begin. So now that we've covered that, let's get into the individual frameworks. In order to achieve $10,000 months, you need $10,000 systems. So think back to that quote from Van Tharp. We want to build out a working business plan that will allow us to generate these profits consistently. Okay. We don't need to be swinging for the fences, but we do need to have a plan in place that we can continually apply and continually repeat that will generate profit over time. And the first step to do that is to develop your strategy edge. So the first thing I want you to do is identify your personal strengths. You really need to think about this and treat this as an internal thinking lesson. The number one problem I see traders make when they begin is they're all trying to follow the hype on social media and they all want to be day traders, okay? But they fail to consider their personality type and character traits when deciding what approach to take. Now, you should lean into your strengths in the early days to optimize your trading for the biggest results. And then later you can build on the weaknesses and you can build more on your passions as well. So we're going to follow this professional process. It's a 3-step process and it's going to get you set up with a streamlined focus on the most optimal way of trading for you. Step number 1, we want to consider personal strengths and weaknesses. So, are you a trader who lacks patience, or are you a trader who has patience? Are you disciplined enough to not take stupid trades after you take a loss? Are you better dealing with large wins or a series of smaller wins? What works better for you? What are your personal strengths and weaknesses in terms of your mindset and how you can actually translate results into the charts? Now, once you've considered your personal strengths and weaknesses, I want you to consider your personal commitments and risks. So, what kind of commitments do you have? Are you free all day? Can you trade through your prime sessions? Or are you working a 9 to 5 job or distracted by some form of work, even if you're working from home? And what kind of risks are you able to take? Do you have a family depending on you? Or are you currently just single and you don't have a lot of commitments and you can afford to risk a bit more without really damaging your quality of life? Now, the reason I'm getting you to think about these two things is because I want to make sure you're trading an optimal strategy. So let's say you have a 9 to 5 job. Now, it's not really optimal to be a day trader because you can't actually trade in the day, okay? So it would make more sense for you at this point to be a swing trader and then scale into day trading overall. Once you've considered your personal strengths and weaknesses and your personal commitments and your personal life situation at the moment, you can build out the optimal system. Perhaps you're free all day and you're quite disciplined and you're happy to deal with fast losses, in which case day trading might be optimal for you. especially if you're a trader who lacks patience and finds that hard to develop. If you're a trader who's not free in the day and your risk tolerance is not as large as you'd like it to be, then it might be optimal for you to start as a swing trader because you have lower time commitments, you can trade around work, you don't have to stress about fast losses, and you can allow trades to run passively in the background while you are going about your day. So once you've determined this, you can then streamline your focus and start to focus on the optimal strategy for you. So my personal situation, I actually focused on swing trading around my 9 to 5 job. Now, when I first started trading, I did want to be a day trader and I wanted to trade on the lower time frames, but my personal commitments and life situation at that time called for swing trading as the most optimal method of trading because it meant I didn't have to commit as much time and I could passively work it around my job. Okay. So my job in today's class is to get you to where you want to be as fast as possible. And sometimes that is going to require some of that course correction. If you're putting all your time into day trading and it's not working out and you don't have the time to actually apply it, then consider moving to those higher time frames. You can always come back and refine and cut down to the low time frames when you're in a position where you're part-time or full-time trading, which is exactly what I did. So first phase of the lesson then, what are your strengths and what are your commitments? Pair these together to determine your ideal trading approach, whether that's going to be swing trading, day trading, or scalping. So that is question number 1, essentially answered by this point. What is your optimal trading style? Go and work that out for yourself. The next 2 questions, what concepts or strategies are you going to adopt? And what routines will you set in place surrounding your plan? Now, we're going to cover these today, and we have a curriculum, which I'll show you in just a moment. But the important questions to ask yourself from this point forward, what technicals and fundamentals are you going to use? How will you systemize your ideas? What routines can you build and follow? And what is going to be your first major actionable goal? We're going to cover all these things and show you how to translate these thoughts into growth from where you are now to where you want to be at that 10K per month plus mark. So the curriculum for today then, we are going to look over some logic-based technicals. Now, we're going to first of all look at building out a trading strategy. That's going to talk about logic-based technicals, macroeconomic considerations, and your risk management strategies as well, and how to pair all of these together to craft a solid, long-term, successful trading plan. I'm also then going to get you lined up with the right perspective of the markets and attitude of the markets so that you hold a mental edge. And then I'll show you how to systemize and build routines on the path to achieving your goal. And I'm going to talk about capital as well, which is money to trade with, and how you can actually get access to large amounts of capital without putting down large amounts of risk. So phase number 1, we're going to look at building your trading strategy, and I'm going to run you through these 3 core concepts here at the top. Now, when it comes to building a trading strategy, your key aim is to create repeatable, positive expected value systems. So we don't want to come to the charts and win every day. I mean, we'd like to, but it's not going to happen. So our aim is not to win every time, but to win over time. If we can craft a system that will pay us over time, whether we have a losing day or a winning day in the short term, that is all we need to achieve this goal. Here's a little screenshot from one of my accounts going from 0% to 34%. And you can see here that I did not win every session. Okay. Session number 1, we have a nice win. Then we had a flat session, another nice win. But then we have 1, 2, 3 totally flat losing phases. And then some more small wins, another loss, and then some more small wins. Now, the progress made on this account was not from one home run trade. It's from consistently applying this positive expected outcome system. And here's an example of why this is so important. This is one of my students who was lost and off track, and after joining me and adopting my positive expected outcome system, managed to pass phase 1 of an evaluation challenge, pass phase 2 of an evaluation challenge, and then achieve $17,270 plus on this account. And this is only done by around 0.4% of traders if you look at funding statistics, okay? So it's a very difficult thing to achieve, and by far the most optimal way to achieve it is by following positive expected outcome systems. And guys, when we are trading, our goal is not to just be paid one time, but to be paid consistently. So here's actually some screenshots sent to me by one of my students showing me consistent payouts, okay? Payout time, payout request. These positive expected outcome systems will allow you to be paid consistently, not just one time. And this is what you need if you want to build a long-lasting career, okay? So how do we build these systems? Well, the first phase on the path to $10,000 per month is going to be by building a trading strategy. A trading strategy is devised of 3 core concepts. We have technicals, fundamentals, and risk control. These 3 things paired together will allow us to analyze the markets, and then they will allow us to manage our positions so we don't go broke and we can consistently make money through the good and bad. So the first thing we're going to cover is technical analysis. Now, the 3 questions we want to ask ourselves are: what concepts will we trade with? What entry systems will we use? And what exit strategies will we employ? So, on the topic of concepts, I like to focus on logic based concept. And I want to open your eyes to this way of reading the markets because this is going to allow you to read the story that the market is trying to tell to you. Logic based concepts are built around real price action and the order flow of the market, and that allows us to see into exactly what is happening as opposed to things like trend lines, chart patterns, support and resistance, or indicators, which are literally random lines we've drawn on the chart that don't really exist in the markets, and pointless lagging algorithm data being plastered on our charts by indicators. Okay, so I'm going to run you through a few concepts now and teach you market structure, supply and demand, liquidity, and market efficiency, because these concepts tell the real story, and I always recommend building your strategy around concepts that will allow you to read what the market is writing for you. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is supply and demand, and this is the real reason why the markets move. Markets move simply based on how much supply and how much demand is in a market. So, when demand for an asset increases, supply is taken up. Scarcity raises valuations. When demand for an asset decreases, more supply is readily available for the market. Less scarcity and less willingness to buy means that valuations fall. So this might be confusing on the surface, but I want you to think of this like real estate, houses, okay? When there is a lot of demand for housing due to a raising population, for example, house prices will go up. The purchase price of a house goes up and the rent per month price of a house goes up. This is because there is a lot of demand, meaning there's a lot of people that want a house, but there's only a limited supply of houses. Due to that imbalance between demand and supply, the prices of the houses goes up because people are willing to pay more because they need a house, okay? Now, eventually, if prices do go too high, people will be unwilling or unable to pay the prices for housing. So they'll stop buying. At this point, the market then has to readjust, and the price to purchase of houses and the price of rent for houses will go down, okay, because there's now less demand and more supply. So hopefully that breaks it down a little bit more simple. Now, here is an example of this visualized onto charts. Step number 1, we have this upward moving phase. In this phase, we have more buying than selling taking place. And this buying is obviously demand. So with the demand, we have people buying up the supply. There's now less supply, more demand, so prices go up. Now, eventually, the people that brought on the way up are going to start taking profits. And also, being at a premium price point, people will now be happy to sell. So now a lot more supply is being pushed into the market and the demand is dying out because all of the demand for buying is now being closed out. Okay. So now demand is falling, supply is raising. What does that do? That makes the market fall back down. The prices are rebalancing because people don't have demand to buy at these prices and people do have a lot of supply to offload at these prices. So we constantly move in these up and down phases in the market based around supply and demand. And we'll pair these concepts together a little bit soon, but now let's look at market structure. So how do you read whether a market is going up or down? Do you use trendline retests or trendline breaks? Or do you just simply look at the chart and try and work out whether it's going up or down? Well, the most accurate way to view the market from a trending perspective is to just look directly at the actions made by price, because trend lines are totally inaccurate and guesswork has no place. What we want to do is follow the real price. Now you can see here I've drawn 3 green arrows at the bottom of this chart, and you can see that we are continually forming a higher low. So we have a higher low, then we have another higher low, then we have another higher low. And then at the top of the range, we can see we are forming higher highs. So every time the market comes down and forms a higher low, it pushes up and forms a higher high. So here we can read that the market is bullish or going up based purely on the fact that we can see the market is forming higher lows and higher highs, okay? If we start to look at the market from this perspective, instead of looking at baseless trend lines, we are looking at the real price. We are not dependent on the actions of a random line we draw on the chart. We are simply following the real structure. We are simply following the real structure of the price. And we are seeing that prices are continuing to go higher and higher. And we don't rely on any silly indicators or trend lines to tell us that. It's very simple, but very effective. And guys, just to hit it home from the previous concept, why is the market forming higher highs and higher lows? That is because there is more demand than supply in this market. And as demand goes up, so do prices. So another concept that I would like you to look into is market efficiency. So market efficiency refers to the balancing of orders. When demand or supply in a market takes over, these imbalances in price can be opened. Imbalances are then filled to rebalance markets. So let's take a look at the chart example I've drawn here. We have a very big upside move formed from a lot of demand entering the market. So we see a massive amount of buying, no one selling on the other side of that. We get a huge push up. That's what we call the imbalance. Now, eventually, the demand from these buyers is going to dry out. So the next logical point for the market to then come back to will be all the way through that imbalanced price range. Generally, we will then go and fill the entire imbalance on a phase of selling as these buyers take their profits and less demand comes into the market. And then when we come back down to these prices where demand kicked in before, we know this is a good place to buy. We know that people are happy to buy at this level. So buying will generally take place once again. So you can see the concepts we've discussed so far are all logic based. We are looking essentially around the core concept that the market is driven by supply and demand, and whether more people are looking to buy than sell or sell than buy. The market structure is derived directly from how much demand or supply is in a market, and the market efficiency is also derived from how strong the demand or how strong the supply injection is inside of a market. And another logic-based concept to look into is liquidity. So you can see that from all of the concepts we've looked at so far, we are following orders. We are looking at how much people are buying versus how much people are selling and which one is taking control. Well, liquidity simply refers to orders, okay? And traders' stop losses can actually offer orders to the market. Now, liquidity is a concept that can destroy you if you fail to understand it. So it's imperative that you take notice on this and go and study this one a little bit deeper, okay? So in this chart example, we have what we'd call a traditional support floor. You can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bounces on that line that I've drawn there. Now, what is general retail education telling people to do? Buy from support or sell from resistance with a stop loss beneath the low or above the high. So in this example on buying from support, we can see that we will have stop loss orders below. Now, what we will often see, and you might have been caught in this trap quite a lot if you trade support and resistance, is the market liquidates that low. And by liquidate, we mean it goes and trades into those orders, okay? So we know there's a lot of stop losses there. We know that markets rebalance for orders as we just looked at with that market efficiency lesson. So it's very likely when we have a pool of orders in one area or liquidity, the market will reach for that place as a kind of stop loss hunt, okay? And this is why it's important to understand this concept, because if you don't understand it, you'll consistently be used as this liquidity, okay? Your orders are going to be these stop losses. What we really want is to be getting in where these stop losses are, okay? So you can see from those logic-based concepts that every way that we view the market is telling a piece of the story. We are looking for how strong demand or supply is in a market. We are looking for the areas where the demand and the supply is going to kick in the market by using the liquidity. And we are looking for areas the market is likely to be drawn into by using the market efficiency concept. So now let's take a look at basic retail view versus a logic-based trading view and why I recommend focusing on the concepts I've showed you so far. So what story is this chart trying to tell us? Think about the concepts we've just used. What is it trying to tell us? Well, a lot of people wouldn't consider the story the market's trying to sell us. They would just draw some random lines on the chart and then find this assumption. They would say, well, there's a triple top or a resistance. Then we had a break of a trend line. We've then had a support which is broken, which will turn into a resistance. So surely when we pull back, we should sell. Well, I want you to really consider how totally baseless and stupid this seems. There is no reason as to any of this. We have literally drawn lines on the chart, and now we've decided that the market is going to follow to those random lines. Now, when I traded this exact piece of price action with my logic-based strategy, I was hit with a lot of flack from people saying that this is what was going to happen. But really, this is the picture we can build from this logic-based methodology. So let me talk you through it. First movement, top left, we've seen a big sell-off. This obviously shows that a lot of supply came into the market at this level. So this is seen as a good level to sell at when price gets there. The move was so big that it left open an imbalance, that market efficiency concept. We then started trading to the downside with lower lows and lower highs. However, eventually, in the middle, where you can see that line, we had a break of structure and the market started to form higher highs and higher lows. It did this all the way up to forming that triple top resistance that we looked at in the basic retail concepts. Now, what do we know from the liquidity lesson? Well, if we have a triple top resistance, we know that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people selling at this triple top with stop losses above. So that forms liquidity. Now, judging that the market is actually going up in the trending structure, we can see that the market is likely to continue going up because now we have that key area of supply, which is imbalanced. We have that liquidity, which is a magnet for price, and the structure is going up. So we can expect that when the market pulls into the area that kicked up this last big bullish move, showing that there's a lot of demand there, the market will likely continue back to the upside with a new push of demand to fill the imbalance, take the liquidity, and then when we reach that big supply area that traders were happy to sell from before in masses, we will likely see selling kick in once again. And what happened? That is exactly what happened. We had the demand kicking back into the market, and once the imbalance was filled and the market efficiency was balanced out, we then saw supply come back in and we saw the market sell off dramatically. Okay, so trading with these logic based concepts will allow you to really understand why the market is doing what it's doing and take away your reliance on random lines. So, guys, whether you take on my advice of learning these concepts specifically, what I want you to focus on primarily when it comes to your trading strategy is to learn to read the story the charts are writing for you. Okay, so the next key piece to the puzzle when we are looking at building a trading strategy is definitely macroeconomics. Now, macroeconomics refers to fundamental analysis. This is where we are basically reading the markets from what's happening in the real world. So, what are the different world governments doing? What's happening in the world's economies? Okay, these concepts are deeply overlooked, but the macros and the fundamentals and the economics are actually what drive supply and demand. So, we've discussed that supply and demand drives the market, but why would demand actually arise in a currency? Well, that is because it becomes more attractive from an economic point of view. It makes more sense to hold money in this currency. It makes less sense to hold money in this currency or asset. So naturally, demand for one will fall, demand for one will rise, and that is when we start to see a currency or an asset actually rise in price. So supply and demand is entirely driven by the macroeconomics. Now, I wholeheartedly believe that macroeconomics allow you to see the future for chart directions way better than any technicals ever could, because they give you the real reason behind why demand or supply should arise. And macroeconomics provide confidence and clarity to your trading work. It's simply unmatched by only looking at charts. Now, if you're thinking now, I don't want to use fundamentals, I don't need fundamentals, think about this. Have you ever noticed how 95% of traders don't use fundamentals? Or have you ever considered the fact that over 95% of traders never make any money? Isn't that an interesting correlation? Without macroeconomics, you lack many important pieces of the puzzle. Have you ever been in a trade that isn't working out and you have no idea why? I get messages like this all the time. Why is GBP JPY going up so much? How could the yen be this weak? Well, it's very simple when you understand the macroeconomics. So, if you start to focus on these core concepts, monetary policy and geopoliticals, you'll actually understand why currencies are strong and why currencies are weak, and how we can use this correlation to trade successfully. And this goes for assets as well, not just currencies. Gold, stock markets, all these different assets are readable by looking at the macroeconomics. And the core things we want to follow are monetary policy and geopoliticals, and I'll give you a bit more depth on those in a moment. Without fundamentals, you are simply guessing at the market direction, and that is as simple as that. So start to think about incorporating these into your trading. That will really strengthen your trading strategy. Here is an example of just that. When we were at around 1.1 on Euro USD in 2022, I put forward the idea on Instagram that Euro would probably fall to the parity level where $1 and €1 have exactly the same value. I was met with a lot of comments like there's absolutely no way the euro can go that low. €1 and $1 should never be equal. And when you look at a chart and when you think about this with no solid information, it's easy to believe that that couldn't happen. But when you understand the macroeconomics, you understand how much stronger the dollar is than the euro and how this is very, very possible. And as you can see, that is exactly what happened. So without my use of fundamentals, I would have had no idea this was coming. So how did I see this ahead of time? Well, I did this by understanding the monetary policy and the geopoliticals we spoke about previously. So at this time, the US central bank was raising interest rates dramatically. This means the yield goes up. Okay, interest rate is basically the cost of borrowing. If you store money in a bank when interest rates are high, you're going to get more of a return on your money. So this makes US dollars an attractive place to put money because you're getting more of a return for holding money there. At the same time, the Eurozone was in the midst of a lot of geopolitical tension. The war in Ukraine had just kicked up about a month before this. This was causing a major energy crisis in Europe and obviously the speculation of war risk heading further into Europe. So this geopolitical tension paired with the US being a very comfortable place to put money obviously means the euro is likely to fall a lot against the US dollar, bringing the euro and the US dollar to that parity level of 1=1. Obviously, it wouldn't have been possible to see any of this if I hadn't been following those macroeconomics. So there are three pillars of macroeconomic analysis, and I want you to study the link between these three core concepts: interest rates, inflation, and employment. Inflation and unemployment have an inverse relationship, and if you learn to understand this relationship, you can translate that into interest rates. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a bit. So the third aspect of building out your professional trading strategy is risk management. This ties directly into your technical and fundamental work, and it keeps you ultimately winning even when you take losing trades. So if you have a losing week, risk management is what will keep you winning over the month. And if you have a losing month, risk management is what will keep you winning over the year. Okay? So this risk management is built out of three core concepts. We want to consider position sizing, stops, and risk versus reward. So I'm going to let you do some research on position sizing and stop losses, but I'm going to talk to you now about the best way to manage your risk to come out on top through good times and bad times. And that is through risk versus reward. So here's a quote from Peter Lynch, another very famous trader. In this business, if you're good, you're right 6 times out of 10. You're never going to be right 9 times out of 10. Now, because we know we cannot win every trade, we need to perfect a balance in our work that allows us to win even when we're taking losing positions. And this balance is found in risk versus reward. So here's a visualized example of risk versus reward based on a trade that I took quite a while ago. So the initial position here would have been 3R. Basically, this means for every $1 we risk, we are going to make $3 in return. However, I managed to refine the entry in to turn it into an 11R trade. This means for every $1 we risk, we can make $11 back in profit. So the aim with risk versus reward is always to make more than $3 for every dollar we risk. And the more return we can get per dollar risked, the better. But we need to keep it realistic, because if we start reaching for 100R trades, it's very unlikely to actually happen. So let's take a look at some of the statistics around a risk versus reward based system. Here, if we have traders achieving a 50% win rate, which is quite a good average, 50% of trades won, 50% of trades lost. If you're trading with a 2R system, meaning for every $1 you risk, you are making $2 back, after 7 trades, you'd be up 5%, which is fine, but of course, it's not optimal. If you can stretch that risk reward target up to 5R, so for every $1 you risk, you're aiming to make 5, you can actually dramatically increase the amount of money you can make to 17% over the same 7 trades. And if we're looking at a trader who can achieve 10R consistently, they will be up to 37%, even though they are losing half the trades they take. And this is only after 7 trades. Now, 10R is very optimal and won't be achieved on every position, but if you can aim for higher risk reward, 3, 4, 5, 6 or above, you will stay afloat very well, even if you are losing half or even more than half of all the trades you take. So now let's take a look at 25% win rate. So sometimes you will run into phases where you are trading low performance. Okay, there are going to be low volume months. You might take a losing streak, and this is where risk reward really shines through. If we are focused on trading a 2R system and we have a phase where we only win 25% of the trades we take, we would be moving negatively. And if we continue to trade in this fashion, eventually we would go broke. However, if we stretch the risk reward to 5R, even though we lose 3 out of every 4 trades, we are still up 9% after this series of wins, which I think is about 10 trades. So we've got 1 win, 3 losses, 1 win, 3 losses, 1 win. And that is bringing us up to 9%. And if we look at the 10R trader, even though they are losing 3 out of every 4 trades, they are still up 24% after this 10 trade sample. And as I say, guys, 10R is massively optimized and won't be achievable on every trade, but the further you can push your risk reward realistically, the better you'll do through the good times and the bad times. So this phase of trading highlights that risk versus reward edge, and also there is probability edge in our favor, but even if we lost 6 or 7 out of 10 trades, we could still make some great returns overall. So we have here, I've misaligned that, but we have a $4,400 win, a $2,000 loss, a $7,300 win, a $3,490 win, and an $11,700 win. So you can see through this sample of trading, our risk is $2,000. But when we win, we're winning 2, 3, or 5 times that amount, which allows us to stay massively ahead of the curve and means that even if we did lose more trades than we won in this sample, we would still be moving positively. And this is how I teach my students to trade. As you can see, every trade we are looking at is going to be looking to return more than we risk. So if you focus on this risk versus reward based system, by perfecting the balance within your trading, you can be wrong 4, 5, 6, or even 7 times out of 10 and still win big. This is that positive expected outcome system that we want to build. Now, this student, JP, focused on this system, and after years of losing, he finally reached trading success and hit his first $8,000 month. So, actionable points on this first phase of the plan. I want you to build out a logic-based technical strategy using some of those concepts I've shared with you, incorporate fundamentals for clarity and directional bias so you understand why the markets are moving, and then craft your strategy to adhere to a positive risk versus reward ratio system like what I just showed you. This is the best trading system to get you to where you want to be and maintain a long-lasting, healthy trading career. All right, traders, so now let's move into phase 2, which is developing a professional attitude. Now, professional trading requires a professional mindset. A professional mindset is split into 3 segments. We have expectations, attitude and perspective, and emotional factors. To craft our $10,000 blueprint, we need to adapt all of these factors. So, number 1, expectations. Most traders have wildly incorrect expectations of what is required to win. I want you to ask yourself this now. How much do you need to make to win? What is your current expectation set to? 10% a week? 20% per month? 2% per day? 1% per day? What are the goals you have set for yourself? Well, what if I told you all of this is wrong? You do not need to achieve anything near that amount to make $10,000 a month and beyond. What if I told you that all you need to do is achieve a consistent 2 to 5% per month to make $10,000 and more each month? Now, in today's modern trading world, capital is easily accessible. You don't need to flip your $100 account into 100K like you might think you do. And I'm just going to tell you now, guys, you will never pull it off. Okay, it's pretty much never been done, and it's never been done proven either. You might have seen people do it on social media, but they're generally using fake broker accounts. If you can achieve a small, consistent 2 to 5% per month, 9 or 10 months out of the year, you can literally make millions of dollars over your lifetime and hundreds of thousands pretty quickly. Trading is not about big home run gains, it's about compounded small wins of 2 to 5% per month consistently to allow you to make consistent profits. And all you need is the capital behind you to do that. And we can collect that, and I'll show you how. So the first step to creating a professional mindset is understanding the truths I've just told you and getting your expectations in check. Now, I'm not saying you need to create limiting beliefs around your skills and abilities as a trader. It is common for myself and my students to hit 8% months, 10% months, or maybe sometimes even more. But understanding all you need is that baseline 2 to 5% will literally change everything for you. Let's do some quick maths. 2% of your $100,000 account is only $20 a month. Pretty lame, right? But that exact same 2% input on a $500,000 account, which can be achieved via funding, as we will discuss, is $10,000 per month. It's the exact same input and the exact same percentage returns, but wildly different dollar results, wildly different amounts of money coming into your bank from the same amount of work, thanks to the accessibility of capital. So you might be asking now, guys, how am I going to get $500,000? That's way out of my reach. I could never save that much from work. Well, fortunately for you, you don't need to, okay? There are hundreds of firms that are willing to hand out money to skilled traders nowadays. You don't need to have tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest. Nowadays, you can really turn a little into a lot the right way, and we'll talk about that soon. But first of all, let's move on to step number 2 of developing your professional attitude. Let's talk about attitude and perspective. So, how do you view trading and how do you treat it? Do you view it as a business or a hobby? Now, I'm going to guess most of you probably said business, but I'd be willing to bet you don't actually treat it like one. Is your trading systemized? Are you backtesting regularly and collecting data? Are you journaling all your setups? And are you data crawling your journal trades and refining your strategy each week or each month to improve your trading skills and compound your skill set over time? Are you tracking how much you're making and how much you're spending and losing? And are you following a well-defined plan strictly? There's a lot you need to consider about having a professional attitude, and you need to do all of it if you want to get to where you want to be. Now, the final pointer is emotional factors. Okay, prime trading requires emotional control. Are you a disciplined trader? Can you tolerate risk? Are you greedy? Do you get fearful? Do you revenge trade? Do you close trades early in a panic when they're in profit? Or do you early close losses out of fear when there's no real reason to do so? All of these things interfere with your trade, so you need to become a master of your mindset. And you also need to consider external factors. Has something bad happened in your life? Maybe you're not feeling 100% calm and focused. In these phases, you need to know not to trade, okay? Professionals know when to trade and when not to. And this is a big key differentiator between winners and losers. Now, guys, by far the best way to optimize your mindset is to find solid education, guidance, and accountability. Or you can take the long, painful, and expensive self-teaching route, but I would highly advise you find some good education and guidance to help you on your path to crafting that iron mind. Okay, so we've talked through attitude, expectations, and emotional factors. Now let's talk about that opportunity of acquiring capital. And this is the blueprint to getting you trading big money as fast as possible. So by this point, you know how to build out a trading strategy. You've got those emotional considerations in your mind, but now you need capital. You cannot trade big if you don't have the money to trade big. Consistently achieving $10,000 per month is literally impossible if you don't have $200,000 plus. But the path to $200,000 in capital is actually incredibly simple and can actually be done with as little as $100. Now, I would recommend trying to put up a bit more than that because you'll get to where you want to be a lot quicker, but it is possible. So don't let your current capital situation hold you back. Now, this opportunity is thanks to proprietary trading firms and the big uptick in these firms in the modern day. So these are firms that link skilled traders with capital via usually investment pools. And using these prop firms is the easiest and lowest risk path to get to $10,000 per month. This is the path I've followed, and this is the path that all of my students follow as well. But before you even consider working with a proprietary trading firm, you must be a skilled trader. If you're not a skilled trader, you're going to lose all of your money with these prop firms. It can end up becoming like a gambling addiction. I've seen people fall into this trap and it is not good. So you don't want to rush this part of the process, because if you rush into trying to get funded, this can actually be the fastest way to achieve minus $10,000 per month. Okay, so please take it slow and steady. Now with prop firms, you can actually acquire $100,000 in funding for under $1,000. All you have to do is essentially put up a fee to enroll in an evaluation process. If you can pass this evaluation process by just trading with skill, managing your risk, you will get access to $100,000 or more in capital to trade with. But this means you must be a proficient trader, meaning you need to have that systemized trading strategy, the professional attitude, and the realistic expectations. And then you can follow this blueprint to $10,000 per month. So let's take a look at phase 4, which is the $10,000 blueprint, the thing you've all been waiting for, my exact steps to taking you to 10K per month and beyond. So this is a 5-step process that we are going to follow. Number 1, solidify your trading strategy. I've given you the concepts you need, and I can help you with this later in the video. Number 2, find your accountability community or mentor. So whether you're going to have an accountability partner or you want to really take it seriously and get a mentor and a community, you need that accountability for the course correction. Number 3, you need to have a built-out written plan with your goals, your motives, and the methodology you're going to follow consistently with that positive expected value outcome. And then number 4, we need to backtest, build experience, journal, and refine our skill set to get it to a point where we can consistently make money, and then we can execute upon a funding evaluation and get to the big money. So solidifying your trading strategy revolves around building out technical concepts, fundamental analysis considerations, risk management principles, your entry and exit methods, and your trade management techniques. Now, there's no question about it, the best way to learn a trading strategy is to model the frameworks of a winning trader who has achieved what you're looking to achieve for themselves and helped others as well. But of course, once again, if you don't mind spending the tens of thousands of dollars and losing a few years, you can work it out for yourself. Step number 2 is to build out a written trading plan. Within the trading plan, you should cover your strategy step by step. Place together your risk control guidelines, outline your motives and your why. Why are you trading? What are you looking to achieve? We need direct, actionable points to work towards. And then from this why, we can craft clear, realistic goals and aims, and then build schedules, routines, and rules to actually allow us to get there. Now, once we have our trading strategy and our trading plan written down with our goals, schedules, routines, our entire repeatable system, we want to backtest and demo trade. So remember I said don't rush the process, guys. If you can backtest, this is going to determine the viability of your system. And if you trade on demo for a while, you'll be able to try out your technicals and macroeconomics without risking real money. This is the practice phase, because there's no reason to lose real money while you're in this phase. So once you've got your plan and your strategy together, it's time to do some backtesting and some demo trading. And do not live trade real money until you have at least 12 months of positive testing data and at least 2 to 4 months of profitable experience on a demo account. Once you've been through this phase successfully and proven to yourself that your system works and you have the capabilities to apply it, now you want to go to small live trading. This is the next step in the natural progression. Here you should be trading small live funds or a small funded account challenge, because you're going to build real emotional experience that you can't really build with a demo because there's no real money on the line. So by trading small live accounts or small funded account challenges, you'll be able to push upon those emotions and get used to those. And once you've translated that demo success to small or live funding, it's time to make the move. And this is where we want to go for $100,000 to $200,000 in funding. And this is the real key to $10,000 per month. Remember, guys, if you can just achieve 5% on a $200,000 funded account, you are making $10,000 a month. The more capital you can get, the easier it becomes. If you make 2% on a $500,000 account, that is also 10K per month. And that is wildly achievable for professional traders. So initially, you might just want to go for $100,000 to $200,000 in funding. And the key here is not to rush. The faster that you try to go, the faster you are going to fall. So you want to enroll in the evaluations without putting all of your money on the line, trade slow, and just aim to hit the target over time without risking too much. If you trade your positive expected outcome systems, you'll be able to hit that target, no doubt. And once you acquire $200,000 in funding, all it takes is 5% per month to be trading with a $10,000 per month income stream. As bold as it may have seemed at the start of this training, you can now see it's actually a very simple process. And I've helped hundreds to turn it into a reality. So let's now take a look at some successes my students have achieved to motivate you and show you it's possible. This trader here achieved his $10,000 in one well-defined risk-managed trade using that logic-based technical system and risk versus reward edge. And one systematic winning trade here allowed this trader to overlook one of his losses and achieve $4,000 in one trading week. This trader achieved a series of smaller wins along with a 4.5R winning trade on the dollar index and took his trading to $6,790 in 1 week. And they're not the only ones, guys. We have a trader here making $6,000, $2,570, $20,000 in 1 week, $7,270 in a single day. And this is all with minimal risk down by following my frameworks and trading my specific strategies. So guys, hopefully from that, you can see that you can do it too. It's not far out of reach. It just requires impeccable planning and execution upon your plans. And now that you know the blueprint, guys, you have a choice. You can begin the long, tedious self-teaching journey to $10,000, fall victim to bad habits along the way, lose more money than you have already, commit to 2 to 3 years or more of wasted time, make every mistake in the book along with it, and maybe one day make it if you don't quit first, as 95% do. Or I have an opportunity here for you to learn from a trader who's where you want to be, follow the frameworks that have worked for hundreds of others, join a community of skilled traders on the same path with the same passions, skip all of the mistakes, have a mentor to keep you accountable and focused, and receive guidance every step of your journey to save you tens of thousands of dollars in losses and reach your goals in months, not years. So guys, if you're truly interested in taking your trading to $10,000 per month and beyond, let me give you the keys to success and guide you to your first 10K month. So far in today's training, I've given you the frameworks and the blueprint to actually achieve your first $10,000 per month. But I haven't had time to provide everything to you. So what I can provide under the surface is my exact trading strategy, the macroeconomics, the technicals, the risk management, the psychology that you can just directly take from me and apply to the markets yourself. I've also got over 6.5 years of experience that you can skip. I've made every mistake in the book. I've been through the bullshit so you don't have to. I also have an active network of 6- and 7-figure traders that you can trade with every day alongside myself in live trading sessions, bounce ideas off each other and learn from each other every step of your journey. And of course, an enthusiastic mentor to guide you with personal support when you need it. Now, you've seen proof that I know how to get people funded. You've seen proof that I know how to get people paid. And you've also seen what people have to say about me compared to other trading mentors. And at this point, there is nothing stopping you from being the next 6- or 7-figure trader to come out of my program. So now it just depends if you want to gamble your future on the hard route that over 95% fail to ever get past, or simply secure your success alongside myself and my team. And if you're interested in being guided all the way to $10,000 per month and beyond, you can do that inside of my Trading Accelerator. This is my 6.5 years of experience, all my pain, losses, hardship, as well as the successes and profits and rewards of my work put into one comprehensive program. It's specifically designed to take you from where you are now as a losing trader or a total beginner and turn you into a successful full-time trader capable of making 5 figures per month consistently. And it's designed to do this in months, not years, without taking hours out of your day on the learning curve, meaning even if you are time restricted, you can get this done. Now, guys, there is literally nothing that you need to know that isn't inside of the Accelerator program. This is essentially my life's work inside of the trading field. Also curated from my past 2 years of experience in mentoring over 1,600 students. So you can see from my students' results, not only do I know how to win, but I'm also exceptional at teaching others to win as well. And my student results vouch for that fact. So guys, let's run through what is included inside of the Trading Accelerator and why will this help you. Well, first of all, you're going to get my strategy course. This will teach you my exact swing trading and day trading systems. You're going to get my full fundamental analysis strategies, my risk control systems, and how you can tie that into your plan. I'm going to guide you on building your own trading plan to fit your personal life circumstances. You'll learn my 3-layer backtesting method and journaling strategies, and you're also going to get insights into trading psychology. And if you're a total beginner, there is an optional chapter in there for you as well. Okay, so education is essential, and I can provide to you one of the best educations in the industry, but you also need accountability and support, and that is where the Trading Network comes in. Inside of the Trading Network, we have over 1,000 members from all around the world trading every session. You get access to all of my trades in real time every time I'm trading. You get to join me on live trading sessions almost every day, live classes and Q&A sessions 1 to 3 times per month. You've got access to me in real time for help and support. And importantly, the opportunity to network and chat with people with the same passion on the same path with the same goals as you. And this network is where the feedback and course correction comes in. You can actually get this from me personally and also from other successful traders inside of the network. Now, you've heard me talk about the importance of developing your mindset, so that is why you're also going to get the Iron Mind program. This is an 8-part video series on trading psychology, which will allow you to build off the base psychology videos within the course to craft your professional trader's mindset and stay strong in the hard times so you can win through the good and the bad. The Iron Mind program is designed to take you from that anxious, fearful, greedy trader you are now to a trader who can trade with total rationality and clarity, to a trader who can trade with total rationality, clarity, and confidence. And all of this is enough to get you trading successfully, making your first $1 to $3 to maybe even $5,000 per month. And this program has actually taken a lot of traders to $20,000 per month and beyond. However, you may need a little helping hand, and that is where the Scaling Up program comes in. This is my 11-part video course specifically set up to help you scale your trading from small success into big success. And this is where we really craft full-time traders. You're going to learn how to master trading alongside your 9-to-5 job or other life commitments you might have. You're going to learn the ins and outs of treating trading as a business. You'll get my 7-step blueprint to scaling funded capital. You'll get my 7-step blueprint to scaling funded capital to 7 figures and beyond. And you'll be able to turn your newfound skill set from the Trading Academy into a full-time career. And what's more is I know that a lot of traders start bad and fail to correct. And this means a lot of traders are doomed from the start. This ultimately leads to failure, but I won't let that happen. So I set you up to win from day one with the Success Blueprint. Now, this is simply a 44-page ebook, which is curated from the past 2 years of my experience of teaching traders. I've picked the best things people do and the worst things people do and the best guidance I can give and the worst guidance I can give and curated that into a document, giving you an exact step-by-step process to get started trading the right way. So let's just recap upon everything you get. You get the Success Blueprint, the Trading Strategy course, the Trading Network, the Iron Mind program, and the Scaling Up program. Here you basically have everything you need to start and maintain a successful trading career. It is not just a trading course like you've seen before. It is literally a direct blueprint for success covering all bases of trading. Okay, as you can see here, directly from one of my students, instead of selling wishful thinking, I give you a system, trading psychology, and a mentor who truly cares and is incredibly active compared to anyone else you've seen in the industry. As a few more extra bonuses, you also get access to backtested data, which is continually updated. This is basically going to allow you to see directly how I visualize the markets when I'm trading the systems that I teach to you. You'll be able to collect important data on the systems I teach in the program, and you'll be able to learn from each individual trade I take within my testing. And of course, as I've mentioned before, accountability and a mentor is very important. So you get personal support from myself. You have the ability to talk directly with me inside of the network or in private. I'll answer any questions you might have about the course, help you with any concepts or lessons that you find difficult, happily review your analysis to make sure you're moving on the right path with your work, and keep you accountable so you don't fall off path. So just to round everything up inside of the Trading Accelerator, you get the Success Blueprint to get you started the right way, the Trading Strategy course to show you my day trading and swing trading approaches from start to finish, and these are repeatable mechanical systems, not discretionary BS, so you can continually repeat these positive expected value systems to generate profits month after month. You get the Trading Network where you can trade live with me every day, join us on live classes, and trade with members from all around the world. The Iron Mind program to solidify your bulletproof trader's mindset, the Scaling Up program to translate your skill set into a full-time career, backtested data which is continually updated to see how I visualize the markets, and personal support from me anytime that you need it. So this is a truly amazing opportunity, but you might be wondering, how much does this cost? Well, the total value of everything included inside of this one-time offer is £7,390. Okay, now ask yourself this. If you paid £7,390 a day, would it be worth it to have a successful career in trading practically handed to you? And to be able to step away from the frustrating 9-to-5 grind and start living on your own terms in a career that you have passion about? Now, if all this did for £7,390 was help you get your first $100,000 funded account where you could generate $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, even $10,000 some months from this account, would it be worth the upfront investment? If all it did was get you to that consistent 3 to 5% per month that you can use for the rest of your life to scale up any money you have and generate consistent income, would it be worth that cost? If all it did was give you the path to success in as little as 30 to 60 minutes a day so you could build the career that you're so passionate about, would it be worth the cost? Well, I would say giving you the ability to acquire capital and generate massive profits month after month for the rest of your life without putting down massive time commitments would definitely be worth that cost. The total value of everything you get is £7,390. But if you want to join the Trading Accelerator today, you can do that for $995. And if you don't want to pay it all in one go, that is totally fine. You can also pay in 4 monthly payments of $295. Now, by the standard of the education, the guidance, the support, the accountability, and the value I provide, as well as the results that I provide for my students, this is incredibly cheap. But I know some people might be asking, why isn't it £100? Why isn't it £200? Why does it have to be $995? Well, when I made the training, I had 2 options. My first option was to price as cheap as possible to sell as many as possible. But the problem here is we end up with too many students. It becomes saturated like every other education provider in trading, and it means that I can't directly help my students. Also, when you put up a super small $100 or $200 investment, you are not invested with your efforts. At the end of the day, that money doesn't really mean too much to you, so you end up ignoring the work and you don't give it the commitment and the focus that you should. And as well as that, guys, if it was super dirt cheap, there'd be less resources for me to provide an exceptional experience for you. So the second option requires a little higher investment from you, but allows me to invest more time into live classes and live trading, provide the best experience possible and continually improve upon that, be able to actively help each individual inside of the course, and devote more resources to guarantee your success. And when you invest more, you stay focused on the program. Trust me, guys, I've priced cheap long in the past, and the results my students achieved were significantly lower than they are now, because now I have massive resources to put into guaranteeing your success, as I have done for hundreds of others before you. And I want you to remember, guys, this is an investment, not a purchase. Okay, you'll never have to buy another course again, period. It's highly likely you're going to save at least $10,000, probably considerably more, in lost money and lost savings by making all of the mistakes yourself. At the end of the day, this investment can help you to generate a 4 or 5 figure per month income that can pay you for a lifetime. So putting down a one-time 3-figure investment for a skill set that can generate 4 or 5 figures per month forever is one of the best investments you can make. And as well as all of this, you're going to hit your goals years faster. So it doesn't just depend on how much you value your money, but it also depends on how much you value your time. Now, as a trader, the questions we're always asking is how long will it take to make back this investment? And this investment is no different. So let's look at a little bit of maths. The Accelerator program, one of the main goals is to help you get funded and then generate profits on your funded account. Now, general industry standard funding, $100,000 plus. Now, general student funding will go $100,000 plus. If you can make just 2% on your $100,000, which is doable in one single trade, you'll be making a $2,000 return. With the average industry profit split at around 70%, you will make $1,400 from a 2% trade. $1,400 is £1,100. So realistically, your investment can be made back on your first ever trade on your funded account. And therefore, anything you make past that point is pure profit for you. Now, what do you think Daniel thinks of his investment? He joined in December 2022, and by February 2023, he had got funded and made $50,000 in 1 week from his funded account. So a 995 investment to return $40,000 after his profit split. What do you think? Is that a good investment? I think so. And guys, I don't want you to feel like you're taking a risk by joining the program. That is why I've got a 10-day money-back guarantee. Now, the majority of people that have trading courses don't have guarantees, and I think this is because they don't really believe in their product. And as soon as they've got your money, they don't want to give it back. So all I'm saying is give the program a try, and if you don't like it, I will give your money back. You can try it with zero risk. 99% of people absolutely love the program, stay and build their success here. But if you don't like the way I trade for any reason, just reach out to me within 10 days and I'll give you all your money back. Now, you wouldn't buy a house without seeing it from the inside, so this is no different. Just feel free to join, check it out, and I'm sure you will love it. I've got no doubts about that. But if you don't for any reason, I'll give you your money back and you can go on your way absolutely risk-free. So guys, now you have two choices. Your first option is to just do nothing. Do not join us inside of the Accelerator program. Nothing in your life will change. It's risk-free in terms of the money you will put down, but you are guaranteed hardship. You are going to lose more money and you're going to lose a lot more time in the markets. If you really want a clear-cut path to success, your second option is to put up the small investment, join the Accelerator, and get access to over £7,000 in value for a fraction of the cost. So you can start your journey to successful trading, get funded, and reach your first $10,000 per month trading along my side. So the question is, guys, will you take the leap of faith to create a new life for yourself and unlock all of the value I have to offer from my 6.5 years of market experience to follow in the footsteps of thousands of other successes? Or will you leave here today without changing a single thing about the position you are stuck in? So just to recap on everything you get, you're going to get the Success Blueprint, the Trading Strategy course, the Trading Network, the Iron Mind program, the Scaling Up program, the backtest data, and personal support from myself. Over 30 hours of content spanning over 150 videos, breaking down absolutely everything you need to become a successful trader. The value of everything you get is well over £7,000 and your price today is $995. And if you want to break that down into monthly payments, you can. 4 monthly payments of $295 and you will get lifetime access from day one. Hundreds of students have been through the program and hundreds of students have brilliant things to say. So don't feel like you are piloting the program. You are not jumping on a trial run of my teaching ability. You're following an already proven process with multi-million-dollar results. And guys, on the next page, you are going to have the chance to trade with up to $2 million of our capital and partnered with investors who will provide funding to you directly without the need for the evaluations if you prove your skill set by getting certified through the program. There's more information about that on the next page, but I will let you check that out for yourself. So if you want to join me inside of the Trading Accelerator and start your journey to $10,000 months and beyond, then check out all of the information about the accelerator on the next page, and I will see you inside of the network. Let's get this done.